Good evening, this is BBC Newsline. The headlines this evening. As Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is stripped of his royal titles, there are calls for local streets named after him to be changed.
There's been quite a few talk of petitions going on, Facebook groups and that to change it, so I think it's only a matter of time it will change. I think the locals are looking for a change.
The Chief Constable criticises the Treasury for refusing to help fund compensation after the PSNI data breach. The Armagh College students have written a new play aimed at tackling hate crime. Thousands head to Londonderry for Europe's biggest Halloween festival.
It's good crack, it's good to get outdoors and just see everything that's going on, really.
Halloween, I love it!
And Van Morrison's childhood home in East Belfast is to be turned into a museum.
In sport, Ireland prepared to face the All Blacks in Chicago 9 years after their famous victory at Soldier Field.
And finally, it's Halloween night. I'll be back with the full forecast with some treats and maybe a few tricks.
Good evening and welcome to BBC Newsline on Friday the 31st of October. He spent decades as Prince Andrew and a public figure, but today he is simply known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, having been stripped of his royal titles by his brother the King. The fall from grace of the former prince follows a series of revelations linked to his friendship with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and a disastrous interview with the BBC's Newsnight programme. Here, there are calls for local streets named after him to be changed. Bernie Allen has more.
No longer a prince, now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Last night's announcement follows intense scrutiny on King Charles to act over Andrew's links with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew has always strongly denied any wrongdoing. Now stripped of his titles, a lawyer who has represented 27 of Epstein's victims says street names here named after the former Duke of York should be renamed.
Especially Prince Andrew Way, because we don't like his way of doing things and the people he associated with. So I do think, let's not honor anyone who is accused of a sex crime, even if he denies it. Let's honor victims. And I think that's also a measure of justice in reference to the person formerly known as Prince Andrew.
Those street names include Prince Andrew Park and Prince Andrew Gardens in South Belfast and Prince Andrew Way in Carrickfergus. And today, many people here in Carrickfergus agreed that Prince Andrew Way should be renamed.
A few people locally have been talking about it. I think it has been, there's been quite a few talk of petitions going on, Facebook groups and that to change it. So I think it's only a matter of time it will change. I think the locals are looking for a change.
My own feeling is, yes, I would like to see it come down.
I'd like to change the different royal family members' name.
The Alliance Party has a motion before Mid and East Antrim Council proposing the renaming of Prince Andrew Way and say the road needs to be renamed.
We feel it's really important to maintain that royal link and that heritage because it's a really important part of Carrick and part of our history. But we want to make sure that we do it in a way that's working with the needs of victims as well. So we've asked to keep that royal heritage. We've suggested Prince Elizabeth Way as an alternative, but obviously that's a decision that'll have to go through the palace and back and forward.
Buckingham Palace say as well as giving up his titles, Andrew will also leave his Royal Lodge home and that their Majesties want to make it clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Bernie Allen, BBC Newsline.
And there's much more on the story behind Andrew being stripped of his titles and the reaction here on the BBC News website right now. Now, the PSNI Chief Constable has criticised the Treasury for refusing to help cover the cost of compensation for officers affected by a major data breach. The Executive had asked for almost £120 million to deal with the bill. However, Westminster said no. Now, in a letter to the Treasury's top civil servant, John Boucher has said that decision is affecting staff morale. Here's our political correspondent, Jane McCormack.
When John Boucher took over as Chief Constable, he knew the fight he faced over finances.
We have already got our arguments all set and ready to make sure that we're at the front of the queue to get that funding.
2 years on, that argument continues, not least over how to foot the cost of a data breach affecting thousands of PSNI officers. Last week, the Treasury said it wouldn't help, prompting this letter from John Boucher, which reveals he has deep concern and disappointment about it, saying the request was made to ensure appropriate financial recognition could be provided to those directly impacted, reflecting the seriousness of the incident. And in a direct dig, he says the Treasury's refusal to help has had a profound effect on morale within the police. As well as letters to London, fresh pleas to the Prime Minister.
That incident was unpredictable, it was unforeseeable, it's unaffordable. It matches the criteria that the Treasury have.
Now, whilst it's for the Executive to set the PSNI budget, I want to reassure him that our commitment is to keeping people safe in Northern Ireland.
And as for Stormont's budget, if it gets left with the bill,
if and when these cases are settled, the money will have to be found. And the issue in that case then is which services we will not be able to provide as an executive in order to do that. And I do think the Treasury are being reckless in placing us in that position.
But others take issue with that charge of recklessness.
I think that they simply keep turning up whenever there are big issues and put your hand out and say, help us here, and then go away off and come back a few months later with another problem. That is not how you properly manage fiscal matters and bring solutions that will actually help.
The worry is that at some point it starts to fall on deaf ears because the power and the influence of that message, it loses its traction. And that's where really, the argument is this a reserved matter or a devolved matter? And really, if we're going to be taken seriously as a society, these are devolved issues, and really we need our executive to grip it.
For now, this issue, like so much else here, will go round and round. Jane McCormack, BBC Newsline.
A number of homes across Belfast were affected by flash flooding this lunchtime following sharp bursts of heavy rain. At one point, several roads in the south of the city were impassable, including Laganbank Road and the Milltown Road dual carriageway, where police officers had to clear out drains. There was also disruption on Botanic Avenue, but the water's since been cleared. Local politicians claim the flooding was partly due to neglect of parts of the drainage system.
I think the Department for Infrastructure has been slow to react on things like leaf clearance and drain clearance this year. We've had two major storms, the Storm Floris and Storm Amy. I think that's brought the leaves down a lot earlier. We have been pressuring the department about trying to get drains cleared, particularly in different areas around South Belfast. I think the failure to act on some of those things means that we've seen today, that whenever we do get extreme weather like this that we weren't expecting, that it's causing major disruption and potentially damage.
Well, in a statement, the Department for Infrastructure told us that it aims to inspect and clean all gullies at least once a year, and that further funding has been allocated for maintenance. Now, hate crime is a huge concern here, and now performing arts students from the Southern Regional College in Armagh are attempting to tackle the issue with a play targeted specifically at primary school children. Lindsay Telford was invited along to watch.
There's no shortage of music, dancing and laughs in this play, but it addresses some very dark issues, including racism.
My family and I didn't move here to steal your jobs. We moved here because it was a safer place for us.
Over the summer there was a lot of hate crime going on, and I think it's such an important message that we all need educated about, especially children and even adults, and it's such an important topic and it's not right and it's not okay.
So did that land with the audience?
A lot of hatred's been going on in the world, and it's to try and stop it. No? It shouldn't be happening around people from different countries and people who've lost their parents and stuff in wars.
They might have had a lot going on in their life, and they'd have to travel and they're leaving things behind. And it's always nice to be kind to them and always make sure you're welcoming them and bring a good friend to them.
You ready? Teresa McBride, the director, hopes those messages could be relayed to adults.
Children are more accepting, so it's, I suppose, to let them know that it's okay to be different. And for some children, maybe their parents and grandparents maybe might not have the same views. So we thought if we can educate the children, let them then go home and educate their parents and their grandparents.
The play was made in collaboration with Armagh, Banbridge and Craigavon Policing Community Safety Partnership, and these kids saw the final production after a week of its tour around the area.
Taught me loads of things about, like, from different countries coming in from wars and all. It sent a really good message out to all the people that maybe bully people because their skin's different or they act differently.
I learned that it's okay to be different and you should respect everyone for who they are, and it doesn't matter what they look like, where they're from or what their nationality is. Everyone's different in their own way and that's okay. I think I'll remember it forever.
Lindsay Telford, BBC Newsline.
Now, as you can tell from all of these images, Londonderry bills itself as the Halloween capital of Europe. And once again this year, tens of thousands have visited the city to see ghosts, ghouls and breathtaking firework displays. Tonight really is Fright Night on the banks of the Foyle, with the grand finale of the annual 4-day festival. Let's head under the moonlight to Scary Derry and our Northwest reporter, Kieran Turish.
Yes, indeed, Chris. Well, I can tell you thousands of people are here already to take part in this massive event. Many have dressed up, as you can see, and they're going to be watching the big carnival parade, which gets underway at 7 o'clock. Then, of course, we have the highlight of the night for many, which is the huge fireworks display along the banks of the Foyle. That kicks off at 8:15. But I can tell you that many people have travelled from across the globe to take part in these celebrations.
It's estimated that around 100,000 people will enjoy the Halloween festivities in the city during this annual event. Dozens of performers have been taken to every street corner to showcase their unique talent, and that's been captivating for those thronging the streets.
It's such a great atmosphere, everyone's in such good form, and everyone loves to dress up.
Oh, definitely the children. They really, really love it.
So we love the way it's getting dressed up and doing our fist painting and all, and it's great.
It's good crack. It's good to get outdoors and just see everything that's going on, really.
Halloween, I love it.
Bars, restaurants and hotels have been reaping the benefits of the huge festival, which opened on Tuesday. And although outdoor events were cancelled yesterday due to the weather, the council's confident it'll prove a huge success again. For months now, people have been planning their costumes and what they're most looking forward to on the night.
The fireworks and all the different experiences that come up, all the live events that happen around the area. There's so many different things that you can do.
Since I've grown up, Halloween doesn't really exist in India, so nothing much really. But over here, it's just a new celebration to celebrate, and it's really just a fun thing to do. It's a new thing in life.
It's very alive. I think they're really big on Halloween, so it's pretty good.
It's close to midnight. In Gallia, the Studio 2 Arts Group has staged 9 free shows in the local community, despite the impact on their annual budget after a loss of vital funding.
In the last year or so, the cuts to the funding in the arts sector, especially here in Derry and in Northern Ireland all across, it's been really, really dire. Theatres closing and things like that, so it's absolutely brilliant that we're getting to put on a show.
It gives so many young people the chances to come to do art, dance, singing, Irish dancing. There's so many different options.
The main parade gets underway this evening at 7 o'clock. That features 600 participants from community organisations across the northwest. And then at 8:15, it's a highlight for many, a huge fireworks display on the banks of the Foyle. Wherever you look, there are ghouls and ghosts, but it's not always frightening.
Happy Halloween!
Scary stuff indeed. Well, joining me now is Aileen McCarter from Derry City and Strabane District Council. Another huge night in prospect.
Yeah, a fabulous night tonight. This is our 39th year of celebrating Halloween here in this city. Tonight is a fantastic night. It's going to live up to everybody's expectations. Near perfect conditions here for our fabulous carnival parade. Everybody around us here is really excited about what the next couple of hours have to offer here. Everybody's in fine spirits and the costumes here are absolutely incredible. We're going to see our wonderful carnival parade with literally hundreds of participants in carnival outfits out on the streets here, and then shortly after that we're going to have our firework display at 8:15 this evening. So it's a really exciting night here again.
Were you hampered by the weather this week, or will that affect the overall numbers when you take a look back?
Yeah, well, obviously we had to cancel some of our activities, our outdoor activities on Thursday night for the Awakening in the Walled City, but we extended our hours slightly, our trading hours for our markets on Wednesday evening, and we are going to extend our programming into Saturday. So as an exception this year, normally we finish up tonight, but we are going to have activity tomorrow. So the haunted harvest markets will all be operating tomorrow for the full day on Saturday. So there's still an opportunity for people to come out and a great opportunity for those traders as well.
Aileen McCarter, thanks for joining us on the programme. Well, if you can't make it in person, you'll catch all the action throughout the BBC, and my colleague Claire Graham is here. Claire, what's happening this evening?
Oh, it's such a lovely atmosphere tonight, isn't it, Kieran? You can feel the magic in the air, and if you're loving what you're seeing behind us and around us, all these spooky faces and more, you can join us over on the BBC iPlayer straight after BBC Newsline, and come join in. We have a live stream of the parade, a live stream of the fireworks on the BBC iPlayer and the BBC News website. Come join us.
Great stuff. Good luck with all of that. And I can tell you, Chris, before we hand back, things are beginning to be a little spooky on the banks of the Foyle.
I bet they are. Terrifying. Just a reminder, as Claire was mentioning there, you can join her and Dean McLaughlin for live coverage of the Halloween parade and fireworks. That's on the BBC iPlayer and on the BBC Newsline website from 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, there are thousands of people visiting Belfast this week for the world's oldest Irish language and arts festival. It is almost 3 decades since the Oireachtas na Saona was held in the city, and there's been a whole series of events at the Waterfront Hall, including singing and dancing competitions. Here's Gabia Gervasqueta.
Singing in front of a crowd in Irish. But nothing phases Una Nicholan.
Well, at the start I was very spooked, but once we got in and once I sat down for a bit and once I saw the other people singing, I eventually was more excited than nervous.
It is so competitive, as I was saying to you before. The standard and Kaidan on Ardam, so it's a very high standard. So yeah, but we absolutely love it. It's not really about winning.
Judges say kids have no problems learning Irish.
Any kind of language is difficult to sing a song or even to speak the language, but there are classes going on and the teachers are very good, and practice makes a lot of difference to children when they keep the practicing going, and it comes along. It may take time, but they eventually get there.
I suppose we kind of grew up with the language and grew up with the singing, so it's all interwoven with each other. Unbelievable talent here, as there is every year. So hard to pick a winner.
And this year, some records were broken.
All our performing arts competitions are in the Irish language, storytelling, singing, all types of recitation, etc. So we found that the number of entrants in the competition this year by itself is over 1,000.
Some 10,000 participants and spectators are expected across the 5-day event. The last time Belfast hosted Oireachtas na Saona was in 1997. Gabia Gervasqueta, BBC Newsline.
Well, with more music now, because as you know, many of Van Morrison's songs were inspired by the streets and surroundings where he grew up. And now in East Belfast, his childhood home is to be turned into a museum. City Council has recommended a proposal. It's approved to turn the terrace house at 125 Hindford Street into a tourist attraction. Although it could be a few years before the museum opens to welcome in Sir Van's many fans. Robbie Meredith has more.
On Hindford Street.
but you can feel the silence.
This is the small terraced house in Hindford Street where Van Morrison was born and grew up, listening to his father's record collection. Now the humble home is set to be open to visitors, as Belfast City Council has recommended approval for a planning application to turn it into a museum.
It's designed as a very humble working class house. It's not flash inside at all. You know, it's where his parents, George and Iris, lived, and where Van had a little box room upstairs, and obviously record player has pride of place.
The landscape around Van Morrison's childhood home is immortalised in some of his best known songs. The hollow of Brown Eyed Girl is a stone's throw from the house, while the striking Cypress Avenue, depicted on his early groundbreaking Astral Weeks album, is only around half a mile away.
People all over the world are fascinated by where he came from, how he relates that to, you know, singing about the hollow, singing about Cypress Avenue, singing about the window cleaner and the herring seller and the moth catcher. And you're in Van Morrison's world when you walk up that street.
Tours of the home will be available, but according to the planning decision, it could be a few years yet before it opens. Robbie Meredith, BBC Newsline.
Great stuff. Time for sport now. Nicola McCarthy is here, and it's a little over 24 hours now to the big game in Chicago, turning into quite a windy city showdown, this.
Absolutely, it is indeed, Chris. Excitement very much building as well ahead of what is always a huge fixture. Good evening, everyone. Ireland were training at Soldier Field this afternoon on the eve of their matchup with New Zealand. The two teams met in Chicago for the second time, with Andy Farrell hoping to follow in the footsteps of Joe Schmidt 9 years ago and lead Ireland to victory over the All Blacks. Gavin Andrews reports.
Soldier Field is one of American sport's oldest and most iconic venues. Home of the Chicago Bears, it's seen its fair share of history over the years, but in 2016, the Ireland rugby team made their own. They beat the All Blacks for the first time in 111 years, and the chance to do it all again means a lot.
It means obviously a little bit more to everyone now because of the game in 2016. I'm talking about Irish people now. Knowing what happened in 2016, it was a fantastic occasion. Again, it's a privilege to be here for the Battle of Chicago round 2, is it? So we're fortunate enough to be able to come to the party with that.
The game is an important chance to showcase rugby in the States, but for the players, it's the perfect way to kickstart a busy autumn with arguably their toughest test.
Right up there. I saw this fixture and it's definitely one you want to be a part of. The opportunity to play in Chicago against a world-class team like New Zealand, it'll be pretty special, I think, especially for the run-up that we have in the next 2 years, looking at the next World Cup. You know, this game, it is massive for us, it's massive for our group, and people are really excited, and I think a win tomorrow would definitely rank you know, up there in basically everyone's career.
61,500 fans will be here for the rematch and hoping it can live up to the fireworks of 2016. Gavin Andrews, BBC Newsline, Chicago.
Now, this man, Rory Best, Ireland captain 9 years ago in Chicago, is over for tomorrow's game. And a few moments ago, he spoke to Gavin about what he will bring in his new role as the general manager at Ulster Rugby.
Rugby organisations are generally run in a similar way. You look at the way even the teams play on the pitch, everyone plays similar tactics, just some teams do it better than others. So I suppose part of my job is to make sure that we do what is right for Ulster Rugby, and we do it to the best of our ability, that we lead in areas and we drive this whole province forward. And it's probably that leadership side of things that I want to bring to it, that we can go out and be the best version of ourselves.
Now, the opening game in this year's Ulster Provincial Football Series has a novel feel to it. Antrim champions Dunloy meet Derry winners Newbridge under the lights at Owen Beg. Mark Sidebottom has more.
Dunloy's reward for winning Antrim for the first time in 93 years is a first-time taste of top-tier provincial football.
We had to take a week to take it all in, but no, it was hard to believe at the time, but we knew we could do it. They're an attacking team, we're an attacking team. It's going to be...
Let's attack.
Let's attack. It's going to be a good game.
Opponents, Newbridge, breakthrough winners in Derry last season, are now back-to-back champions.
Back-to-back, something we never thought we would ever do, never mind becoming the champions for the first time in so many years, but being back-to-back has been an amazing experience around our club.
They've met once before in Tier 2 at a now defunct venue.
Kitchen Park was somewhere you always wanted to play, and to be there playing for your club at age 17, it was something I never thought I'd be doing. The time we played Dunloy back in 07, we didn't know much about Dunloy, but again, they beat us well and beat us off the park in Kitchen Park that day.
Newbridge, you've been warned. Mark Sidebottom, BBC Newsline.
Finally, we have live Irish Premiership football tonight with Glentoran taking on Portadown live on the BBC iPlayer from 7:30 and also on the BBC Sport website.
Nicola, thank you very much indeed. Now, it wasn't as calm as this all day, although this was a picture from this afternoon, but really the focus, Cecilia, is on Halloween night.
I know, and I have a treat. Couldn't resist that. So the celebrations in Derry just look amazing. They really, really do. That's where we all want to be. But I'm sure there are lots of smaller Halloween celebrations going on around Northern Ireland. So this is my first treat in tonight's forecast. It's dry, small amounts of cloud, and it's not too cold either for the trick-or-treaters, because later on tonight, from about 10 or 11 o'clock, there'll be thicker cloud and rain moving up from the south. And once again, we're looking at heavy rain, gusty winds, especially towards the east coast, and potentially some minor flooding in places. Now, the winds will have reduced again by tomorrow morning, but there'll still be some wet weather first thing. So that's a nasty bit out of the way. It's an improving picture quite quickly tomorrow morning, brightening up with some sunshine. Yes, there'll be a few showers around in the north and west, but there'll be a lot of dry weather. It's the 1st of November tomorrow. The temperatures are down a little bit on today, typically around 10 or 11 degrees, but it's not going to be particularly windy. A little bit cooler tomorrow night, and then on Sunday, again, we're looking at not a bad day. Some sunshine, a few showers scattered around, especially in the north and west, and temperatures bang on average around 10 or 11 degrees. Now, there is some cloud and rain to come in on Sunday evening, Sunday night, and that's attached to this weather system. So some wet weather on Sunday night. The air then turns warmer through Monday and next week. In fact, if you've heard about Hurricane Melissa, the remnants of that tropical air is coming our way. So we are looking at a milder week next week for the start of November. Unsettled, but it won't be raining all the time, but some decent weather this weekend. So have a lovely Halloween.
Cecilia, thank you very much indeed. Just a warning, the weather and Cecilia are both capable of tricks as well as traits. I'll be back with the latest at 10:30. In the meantime, don't forget you can turn over to the BBC iPlayer and watch that live parade and firework in Derry. Have yourself a very good evening, and don't forget to watch that Halloween parade. Happy Halloween.